The 2025 Phillies season is officially in the books and has ended in some of the most disastrous fashion possible. What is being coined as Orion's melt for the meltdown on the mound after overthrowing home plate there. This will be a moment that lives in sports infamy and our nightmares forever. But in bad opportunities, sometimes the good things do emerge, and there are a few positive storylines that I did want to tie into this Orion Kerkering sort of meltdown here to make us feel a little bit better about humanity as a whole. I did rush right on here to a post-game reaction last night, made sure to get my takes in, and I think my message was pretty loud and clear that the bulk of the blame for why the Phillies are not still playing baseball is because of the bats. That yes, I know that play by Orion Kerkering will live in infamy, that will be a moment that is talked about in Philly sports lore for decades to come. But this is not all on Orion Kerkering, and I love that the Phillies got that exact message there. There are a ton of quotes that I do want to highlight about that specific situation. Like I said, I rushed up here to get a post-game done. I did not kind of have the ins and outs of how this went down, so did want to highlight a couple after the fact. And the first thing that jumped out was Orion Kerkering walking off the mound, lonely, looking like the fate of the universe was on his shoulders because we know exactly what just happened in the way that he feels that he let his team down. And Rob Thomson, following the game, was asked about it. For starters, Rob pulling him in right at the top of the stairs, talking in his ear, giving a little get your head up, a little pep talk there, which is exactly what the role of a manager is in that spot. I think a lot of times we forget about the human side of athletes there, and I think this was a good reminder of all of this. That feeling that Orion Kerkering felt on the mound, that is something that a lot of us cannot even put ourselves in those shoes there. But for Rob Thomson directly, he was asked about it, and he said, quote, just keep his head up. He just got caught up in the moment a little bit. Coming down the stretch there, he pitched so well for us. I feel for him because he's putting it all on his shoulders, but we win as a team and we lose as a team. That is exactly the response. We also got videos of Alec Boehm in the dugout, him, JT Realmuto giving a bunch of pats in the back. There also was a story that came out about Orion Kerkering basically going back to the dugout all by himself, and Kyle Schwarber being the guy to come grab him and say, come back in the locker room, man. This isn't us thing. You're a part of this team. We don't have that much time together, and we want you a part of it for as long as possible. And while he was in the clubhouse there, Orion Kerkering, the man that he is, stood up and faced the media in a way that I think is incredibly admirable here. So I did want to play this full interview by Kerkering. I will preface this. There are a couple curse words that do pop up from Kerkering. I think the moment does call for, but to pull up the exact ins and outs of what he was saying, I do think this is worth hearing here.
Shit off my foot. Just kind of, once the pressure got to me, I just thought it was a faster throw to JT, a little quicker throw than trying to cross body at the Bryce. So just a poor shit throw.
Yeah. Did you hear them telling you to go to first at all, or were you just in the moment that it wasn't even?
Just in the moment.
Yeah.
Can you see JT pointing in that moment, or is it just kind of looking up?
Just kind of looking up, just be ready to go.
I mean, a lot of guys that remember you, Nick was one of the first ones there. Just what do the guys say to you in that moment?
Just keep your head up. It's an honest mistake. Just it's baseball. Shit happens, and just keep your head up. You'll be good for a long time to come. It's not my fault. Then just had opportunities to score. Just keep your head up.
Conversation with Rob too. What did he say? What does that stuff mean to you? About those guys picking you up so quick.
It means a lot. It shows they care a lot. Just means everything for sure.
I'm sure a lot of guys in here have had moments early in their career that, they can kind of remember very vividly. How much do you think you can use this kind of in the offseason to for good?
For sure. Yeah, the wall with a tennis ball for sure. But, just kind of keep going with it. Hopefully it started a long career. Just keep back in my head of this really fucking sucks right now, but hopefully keep pushing and get over this hump. Keep pushing.
It takes some real stones to just stand up there and face the media like that, to take it head on, to accept responsibility, to roll with the punches. That means a lot to me. That says a lot about Orion Kerkering right there. We've seen athletes be upset or duck out of media sessions for far less than what he just went down on the field. And the fact that he did face that head on like that, I do think is really telling about that man's character right there. And for Orion Kerkering specifically there, I understand that he's the guy that made that play. That there's no doubt that his mind fritzed out, he got lost in the moment, and he's going to have to wear that forever. This is a situation where I think we knew who Orion Kerkering was, that I think we've seen for several years to this point, and to pull up his stats directly, he's a very good pitcher, a very good relief pitcher, a guy that is a part of this bullpen equation, but we've seen them try and force him into larger roles and him not be ready for several years now. I mean, we're talking about in his rookie season, him being fast-tracked to the majors. He pitched in 3 regular season games before being asked to be a part of the postseason roster there. Then, of course, last year, where he settles in, is like a fringe all-star level reliever there from start to finish. Took a bit of a step back this season based on the season prior's production, but still a guy whose numbers check out amongst the better relief pitchers in baseball. The difference with Kerkering, it is the high leverage spots that can get to him, and it's when there's runners on base. And what did Rob Thomson do but give him both of those opportunities? Now, I will say my favorite spin zone on this entire situation that I did want to shout out here. Shout out to my guy, Orion Kerkering Truther on Twitter here, who tweets out, "This is all Jordan Romano's fault if you really think about it," which is one of my favorite takeaways, our favorite spin zones on this overall. Jordan Romano, man, it is ridiculous to think about that a couple months ago we were talking about this is plan A for the Phillies closer. This is going to be the guy who's our consistent 9th inning guy. Man, that did not work out whatsoever, and best wishes to Jordan Romano. He better not be back in a Phillies uniform next year, but nonetheless, we'll keep this train on the tracks here. And a couple other situations that I did want to highlight. Nick Castellanos, man, what an absolute awesome teammate, running in from right field, sprinting to Orion Kerkering, and being the first guy there. I believe he even beat JT Realmuto to be the first guy to say get his head up. And he was asked about that situation as well. And Nick Castellanos said, quote, "I just told him to keep his head up, and I just wanted to be next to him while he walked off the field. Just so you know that he's not alone in that moment." Once again, just awesome teammate stuff. Again, none of this makes up for the product on the field. A loss is a loss, that they fell short of their expectations in the postseason once again. But I do think it is really cool the way that they have rallied around this guy. And I think Orion Kerkering, frankly, was a guy who needed to be rallied around. Look at him in that interview. I mean, the dude's fighting through tears, fighting back tears, making sure that he does not break down on the spot. But like I said, he took it like a champ. He took it head on. And I have a ton of respect for that. Sometimes it is not what your heights are, what your successes are. It's how you respond to the failures. And I do think this is going to be a pretty telling moment for Orion Kerkering's career. There is a world where some players in those exact shoes would crumble moving forward. I don't get the sense that that is how Orion Kerkering is wired here. I do think this is going to be a situation where he's going to learn from it. He's going to feel the frustration and anger and embarrassment of that specific play forever. But what will tell the story of who Orion Kerkering is what he looks like on the mound when he does get out there for the next time. Because in the long haul, this is still a guy that is going to be a key part of this Phillies team. This is clearly a guy that the organization believes in a major extent here for all the reasons that I mentioned. Fast-tracking him to the Major League roster and being a part of the postseason bullpen rotation as a rookie here. That is not things that happen often. And of course, he's now 3 seasons into his career, and we've seen that role sort of grow, develop, and be scaled up year by year. Orion Kerkering is going to be a part of this Phillies franchise likely for years to come here. It sucks that that's how things went down, but it's about the bounce back for him right now. And shout out to the rest of the Phillies for picking him up, man. So for Orion Kerkering, for the way that you handled this pretty drastic and disastrous situation there, I have nothing but respect for taking on the chin the way that he did there. It obviously is not ideal. It does not change things whatsoever, but I did think it was worth highlighting the way that this Phillies team did really rally the troops and come around their guy in Orion right there. So shout out to Nick Castellanos, shout out to Rob Thomson, shout out to Alec Boehm, JT Realmuto, and I'm sure there were plenty more in the clubhouse with stuff that did not come public there. This is a bottom of the barrel type moment from a career perspective for the young pitcher there, but certainly not the ending of his story as a Major League Baseball player. So it is about how he bounces back, and cannot wait to see what he cooks up on the mound next season. We're going to be diving into a ton this offseason right here on Phillies Digest. We got plenty to talk about. I got a Kyle Schwarber video cooked up and dropping tomorrow. Going to be speaking about why it's not as simple of an equation as it initially seemed for just hand this man a blank check. We're going to get into all this. Of course, we're going to have a Rob Thomson conversation, talk about all the other impending free agents from Ranger Suarez to JT Realmuto, even the little guys on the roster, Lou Trevino's. We got a mutual option with Harrison Bader. There are a lot of changes incoming with this Phillies franchise. I'm going to be all over it from start to finish right here on Phillies Digest. So make sure you guys are tapping in and getting involved. It is going to be a busy offseason outside of the baseball diamond there. So make sure you guys are tapped in the latest news, and the best way is by getting that right here on Phillies Digest. So if you have not already, make sure you're smashing that subscribe button, dropping a like on this video here, giving your comments below. I'll be back. Talk with you next time. Peace.